All right. All
This
right.
meeting is being recorded.
Okay. I don't know where that came from, but okay. Wasn't me.
Okay.
Anyway, I am super excited. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, September 12th. Like, it's great. But here's what I love is we are in the middle of or we are at the start of the new fall selling season and the fall season as well. And this is probably one of my very favorite seasons, I'm sure, like everyone else. But I am super excited because we have two amazing speakers. And I don't want to be talking a lot because I want them to share all of their I'm going to put these guys in. Hold on here. Let's see. Spotlight. And I don't know who's going first, but I'll find Denise. I know. Big people. Okay. Add spotlight. This way we can have you both there. So here's what I'm going to do. Just a quick, what I could say is they're going to be talking about Project Broadcast. And I am sure everyone has lots of questions about Project Broadcast. So I can't wait to hear from them. They have a lot of experience with it. They have been using it now for a while, but I don't know who's going to be up first, but Tiffany has been with us for 19 years, 1.1 million and 238 qualified recruits, which is very impressive, my friend. I know. And the rock star of all rock stars in the way of technology. So I am super excited. And then we have Denise. I am super excited about Denise Garza, who happens to be just celebrating a little over 3 years with us, and over 110,000 in sales and 54 recruits. So super excited for her knowledge on technology, picks up things real easy. So we are super grateful for both of you guys. So I am just going to let you have it. You're both on Spotlight. So take it away.
Okay. Well, we thank you both for, or thank all of y'all for letting us both be here. I told Tiffany I'd start off real quick, and I just wanted to say we've been both, I guess, entertaining questions and things that have been coming through, and we do understand that when this came out, I don't think anybody was like, oh my gosh, yay, this is going to be wonderful. We do understand that. But also just like just in my short time that I've been with Pampered Chef, we've gone through, I know COVID happened and it was like, how are we going to survive without cooking shows? And, the 8 weeks of shipping delays and 5 months of, back products and, back order products. Y'all have taught me so much in going through and staying positive and going through everything. But the thing that I've learned the most is that Pampered Chef has always done what they can to make things, for the benefit of the consultants. I've seen that over and over again through things that, even creating table, doing what they could because of the Facebook gels and everything else. They really do have our best interests in heart. And this is not something that they just decided to do because they thought, well, let's just throw something else at them. And I've gotten questions like, why right before fall season? The timing wasn't their timing. They tried to get this out as quickly as possible in working with Project Broadcast. And I really, really am grateful looking at all of it that they did so much. To do this. They really jumped through a lot of hoops to try to get this. And it doesn't matter if you're just using Project Broadcast or if you're using your phone or whatever you're using. It is a texting law, if you look through it, that they're trying to protect us from. And I know I jumped on a little late. I have a sick puppy, sorry. So hopefully we'll be okay for a little bit. But there are people out there that are looking for people to attack for lack of better words. And we're all getting a bunch of texts on our phones, and now and yet you have no idea who to file a complaint to. And if there's that person out there that is looking to file a complaint and now they have a face to that complaint that they can actually file it to, guess who they're going after? And it's us that would have to pay the fines. It's not anybody else. So that is just something I want to throw out there. So Tiffany and I have been working together with a few other girls to try to look for ways to work through this. We don't have all of the answers. We're still working through systems. So we just want to answer a few questions. We want to tell you kind of where it started or how to, how it's going to work if you have questions. But we do not have all the answers. We are and kind of deal through some of the rumors that have gone through. So I just want to kind of throw that out there. So we ask you to try to please stay positive with us with it, because we are trying to. I understand it's hard, but as leaders, when we go back out, we do need to try to do that in general for population. So, all right, Tiffany, I'll let you take the next part.
Okay, so Patty, what was the thing you wanted me to repeat when I was on recording?
How Pampered Chef is leading the industry, and
right. Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys know that back in the day, you used to get a bunch of random phone calls on your phone, and we all registered for the do not call registry. This kind of stems from that. So, people got smarter, texting started to be used. And in 2012 is actually when the texting law started to come into play. So this is 10 years ago, guys. And as Project Broadcast has come along and Pampered Chef has worked together with them to bring us this integration and things, is Pampered Chef is leading the industry in being the first to make sure we are recording the double opt-in. So we are going to talk about what the Project Broadcast integration is and how that is separate from the double opt-in. But Pampered Chef is always looking out for us. So this is to CYA them and CYA us. They have put it in the policy guide so that it transfers kind of some of that transfers the responsibility off of them to us as individual independent business owners. Okay, so just understand that they are leading the industry in this, even though we weren't necessarily the first industry to start using Project Broadcast. The founders of Project Broadcast are spouses of, I think, a Norwax and a Young Living consultant, and they, started this just to make it easier on their end, and then started to realize that there are laws and regulations that go into play when you are selling people things and trying to communicate with them over text. So what we are going to explain to you guys, hopefully a little bit, is Denise, should we start with the two different kinds before we go into what the opt-in is? Since
I think so. That's what I have.
Since I kind of okay. So think about when we were at conference and they announced the integration. I was the first one woohooing in the stands. Hopefully you guys followed suit. The integration with Project Broadcast is separate, like I said previously. So when you go into Table, you can integrate, and I have a graphic that I've already posted. I'll put it in the Rockstars Monday chat group too for that, on how to turn that on if you haven't already. What that does is that allows you to get 10% more credits. So if you are already using Project Broadcast, you have a subscription, you're going to get 10% more credits because you integrated Table and Project Broadcast, even if you're not using Table. Okay, so even if you're doing live parties or Zoom parties or Facebook parties, this gives you 10% more credits. Who wouldn't want more free? So just like our host, right? So I would suggest turning on that integration, and that gives you the 10% more credit. So that's piece number one. That's the integration. That's the perk between Pampered Chef and Project Broadcast. Now, in addition to that, they yeah.
Tiffany, if I can just on that, because I know the integration is not necessarily just with Table. Again, I just want to kind of reiterate on that. It is just that's where they're recording it for us. So again, not just because you're using Table, that's where you want to go and link your Project Broadcast necessarily to Pampered Chef. So I just want to really zone in on that because so many people have so many questions. And I'm not using Table. That's just where you're going to go to
that's why I said. So if you're using other show types, it's still going to work. But you want to do that to get the more credits. Peggy,
how do you link
a picture on how to do that later so that we don't spend time on that right now because we're trying not to overwhelm you guys all with tech.
Yeah, and it is in the training. If you went through the project through the Table PC training, it did show you that there's where the steps on how to do all the linking and all of that. But we will post pictures and graphics for all of that too for y'all.
Okay, so then after you have that integration, The other part of it is the double opt-in. So Pampered Chef and Pampered Chef and Project Broadcast work together because I said, like, we're leading the industry in this, and double opt-in was created because of Pampered Chef. And so what the law states is that whoever the texting person is, like say us as business owners, we are responsible for recording everyone who says yes, we can text them. That would be very tedious on our end to do manually. So through Project Broadcast, that double opt-in is recording that for you. So there's a couple options when it comes to that. So one of the things Christina and I pleaded with Jake to do during conference is, can we start recording those double opt-ins before we officially turn it on in Project Broadcast? Okay, so even though Pampered Chef is saying in the policy guide that, yes, you need to turn on double opt-in, you as the consultant still have control on when you turn that on. So like say you're in the middle of running parties this week and you don't want to turn it on in the middle of the party, you could say, wait until that week of parties is over. So you have control on when you're gonna, and we'll post a screenshot of how to literally go into Project Broadcast and turn it on. Now, once you turn that on, you can no longer text anyone unless they have double opted in. That's why Christina and I begged and pleaded that we had these ongoing relationships already with people, that we wanted to collect those double opt-ins as we were having those conversations. So there is multiple ways that you can collect the double opt-in before you turn that on in the official turn it on in Project Broadcast. Denise, is there anything else you want to add to that?
No, there was a piece about somebody's asking a question about did they remove the piece to the old parties on linking it with when you go into link. And I know it was like 20 days before, 21.
That's been turned off. That was turned off within, we actually, when we talked to Jake, he was like, I didn't really want the system to do that, but Pampered Chef wanted it to do it. And I don't know if you guys paid attention, but within 24 hours, Pampered Chef turned it off. And they didn't do the 21-day look back.
7 days now, isn't it? Only
1 day.
Is it only 1 day?
Yeah, so
hours?
it would only take place to those people who were currently in your parties, the open party.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
And what it does is the reason that they were doing the 21-day look back, and they were automatically sending out a text to everyone who had been in your table parties in the last 21 days. And it was an automated message that just says, Tiffany Foreman would like to send you a text message. Please click this link or reply back, stop. To not get any more text messages. And we were like, oh, like that was like, you guys may have gotten some messages that they were like, stop. And we're like, oh, we couldn't control that. So Pampered Chef immediately like realized that we knew what we were kind of talking about, and that they only did a 1-day look back, which is much better because you're immediately when they're going into the parties, they are double opting in anyway, and that is being recorded. So now when they go to table, this is what's different between running a table party and we're going to put everybody else in the other category, like the Zoom, the live, the Facebook, we'll put those in one category. When they click on table to join a table party, it says, you agree. And then the next, they put in their email address, and then the next screen is for them to put in their phone number, and they agree right there. So they check that box that they are opting in to getting messages from you, the consultant. Then the other parties, there are some methods that we have come up with on how to get that double opt-in, since it's not recorded through table because you're doing the party differently. But you want to record that so that, again, if a Karen turns you into legal and then turns you into the federal government, I don't know which department, but let's just say you would be paying, like if Project Broadcast was subpoenaed, they would be able to pull all of your double opt-ins and say, hey, look, they had permission to text this person. Case dismissed.
Right. Okay, so there's a few questions on what we're talking about on collecting them and asking us to slow down on that part. So all she is saying, she's just right now just trying to explain the difference on the two, but we will kind of go in more detail of how we're collecting them. So right now we're just trying to kind of explain the overview of the two different processes versus when you turn it on and when it's not turned off, or when it's not turned. Yeah.
And as I always say with tech trainings, you're going to have to listen to it more than once, push pause, digest it, and then rewind and push play and watch it again with any tech training.
Especially if you've not watched the table, the new project broadcast PC training, I really say you go back and watch that. It is very detailed, but almost not enough questions were answered. So we kind of want to be the in between for y'all. So you still need to go back and listen to that, and then listen to us too, to kind of fill in the gaps.
And if you're not in the project broadcast and or table group, I would suggest joining both of those, because as things have evolved, they've been very good about posting in both of those groups.
Also, yes. Somebody asked about the timeline to be compliant with the TCPA.
I mean, we're already 10 years behind. So
yeah. So at this point, you're kind of playing Russian roulette. That's the only way I can explain it. If you're just going to send them out and not pay attention and say, I'll take care of it later, it's up to you, so it's your business individually. Nobody can tell you actually have to do this, but that is basically what you're doing if you're just going to send them out and not pay attention to any of it. So
all right, so next let's talk about getting the double opt-ins before you turn on the official double opt-in. So good question, good point, Kristen. And I can't remember if I said it on previous to the recording or once we started the recording on. The reason Pampered Chef is doing this is because we've already had complaints. When we started talking to Pampered Chef about this before conference even happened, I mean, there are Karens out there who were already calling legal. So it wasn't like Pampered Chef wanted to make our lives harder. They wanted to make sure we were CYA'd. Hopefully you guys know what that acronym means. We were CYA'd before any more complaints came in. And yes, Louise, you can toggle back and forth between, I've already done that to play around with some options, is you can turn within project broadcast, you can turn it on and off at will. Okay, so that is totally, again, up to the consultant. And even going forward, as new consultants join project broadcast with the Pampered Chef perk, it's not an automatic turn on. We actually talked about that. Like, would it be good to turn it on? New consultant comes on, we onboard them, we give them the $15 free credit because they've never done project broadcast before, and we turn it on. They said no, they're still putting it in the hands of the consultant. So yes, you can turn it on and off at will. I guess kind of depending on what you're doing. So with that, there are a couple options within project broadcast. And again, this really goes back to the training that home office already did, is you can send a blanket message out to anyone at one time individually, and it cannot be modified. It just simply says, Tiffany Foreman would like to send you, and actually I can copy it, or Denise, if you want to copy it in the chat. They would like to send you a message.
I'm going to put them all in when the replay, when I post it, we're going to post all our words that we're going to share with them.
So that this could go out. Now, I do not suggest that if you uploaded your 20 years of Pampered Chef contacts, like I know some consultants have, that you do the blanket, no, does not cost you any project broadcast credits, sending out a text that says Tiffany Foreman, and they're like, who the heck is that? Would like to send you a text message. I would not suggest doing that. I know there are some that have done that. And again, that is your personal business. I just felt like that was, as my teenagers would say, cringy to do that. So, but that costs 0 credits. They have put that option in there. You cannot, like I even tried, like to just edit like 1 or 2 words or add dialogue or add wording before it or below it. You cannot put anything else in that message in project broadcast, but it does cost you 0 credits. So if you wanted to say, do a small list of people, maybe people who purchased from you in the last month, or people who purchased from you in the last 3 months or 6 months, and maybe they're already getting your drip campaigns because maybe you've been using project broadcast for 6 months, that would be an option to send that out to those people with that standard wording that cannot be changed. That actually comes from project broadcast. They made up that wording, and it's so that it's generic enough that it can be used across all the industries that they work with. Does that make sense?
Just to give you an idea, I went on live with my VIP group and talked to them about doing that, about needing to opt in. So for those people that I said, hey, if you message, if you, comment and let me know you want to go ahead and, continue on. I mean, that wasn't the whole topic of my life, but I said, I'll go ahead and send you a message so you can continue receiving all this information from me. So they already knew what they were going to get. So I did send them the free one. That worked well. So you're going to
Patty,
have to
if you'll let me screen share, I'll pull it up real quick. I don't have
I don't either.
There you go. Oh, no, yeah, you made me co-host. Okay. So if oh, where did Zoom go? Okay. So if you were,
it does look spammy, Kim, that one.
Yeah,
but if you're
I think it does look spammy.
Context where you're letting them know ahead of time, then that has worked for me. Like in that scenario, I had people, I was, went live on my Facebook group and was talking with them about, a little demo, and then told them, this was going on. My wording to them is, there's an added security to know that we're keeping track of our taking care of our list and making sure that we're sending out messages for those that want to continue to seek messages, so that we're, trying to protect them from all the spam. And, kind of explained it to them that way. And it said, if you want to continue to receive messages from me, I'll need you to, agree to that. So, yeah.
Anyways. You know what? I could just do it in a chat. Hold on. I was doing it in the broadcast thingy, but I can just do it in a chat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna text it to myself because I don't think I've double opted in into myself yet. Ugh. If you guys didn't know, this is an easy way to find a conversation, is to go into your contact and then just hit open chat. All right, so you would use the dynamic field, whether you're doing the broadcast or you're doing a chat. You'd scroll down to the one that says 0 credits. And remember, no additional words, nothing, just hit send. And that automatically generates that. Now that link is specific to the phone number. So you cannot copy and paste this message or this link and like put it out on Facebook, like, hey guys, double opt in. That link will not work. It is specific to the person. Kind of like an IP address or something, like it's specific to the person.
So you have to use that dynamic field to select it from the contact for the contact.
Yes. Now your other option, now this will, if you're going to send it as a broadcast, it's going to cross a credit, or if you're in a chat situation, you could do this. You could say like, hi, I'm typing to myself, blah, blah, blah. So I can continue chatting with you. Can you click this link? Okay, much better words. Denise has much better words to share with you guys. Again, I'm going to hit the double opt-in and I'm going to use this one. Okay, notice how this one says 0 credits and this one says link only. This is the one that you can edit, you can modify the message. So I'm just going to send that. I have learned that if you put like a space and then a period, it's better sometimes with an iPhone user because it doesn't like turn it into a thumbnail without them. I just have.
Or put an emoji after it or something, or some words. Yeah, don't end it with the link.
Yeah, don't, just something, some kind of thing. Okay, so I will click on this. Notice it's the same. So this individual, this phone number has the same link. So when I click on this, whether it's that either message, it's just going to come this, and they're going to click accept. This is what's being recorded by Project Broadcast and like checking that box for you. So if this was subpoenaed later, this would be recorded. So once I hit that, they now have the option to fill out this additional information. So what's funny is that some of you guys who are in my recipe club, I allow you to join my recipe club if you use your Project Broadcast number. I've been sending birthday messages without realize I'm sending birthday messages because you guys have filled in your birthdays. So awesome, thanks. But this is completely optional for someone to fill out. Okay, so they made it, so Pampered Chef made it so the wording looked completely optional. But it is nice when they do that. All right, let me hit oh, shucks. All right, let me just go back. Okay, so now I've given permission. Now, I want you to understand this. So this is, again, something that you may just have to digest a little bit, is that now that this person has opted in, I cannot send a message, watch, that has that double opt-in. Okay, okay, so look, if I try to send it, the contact is already double opted in. So, okay, just pause for a second, understand. If they have double opted in already, you can't send a message that has the opt-in link. You can message them, just not with that double opt-in included because they've already opted in. The system doesn't want them to opt in again. It won't allow that message to be sent like that. Does that make sense? Are you guys following? Okay. I see a couple heads nodding, so I'm going to assume that they get that. All right. So now I could, if this person had not opted in, I don't know if Denise, did you opt in? Let's see.
Yeah, I think I did.
All right. So let's say this is Nancy Jones. I don't know if Nancy Jones has opted in. I could send this again. Say, let's just check to see if she has. I can send this again. Okay. Gimberton, I sent words. Oh, no, she's already opted in. Okay. I can send that message multiple times if they have not opted in. So there is no like rule that says, I mean, there's kind of like a rule of thumb, like don't be annoying and send it every single day until they double opt in. But, you know, if you've got them in a drip campaign or something and you want them to have that option to double opt in every time you send that drip, you could add it in there. But once they opt in, you just got to kind of pay attention to that. So that might be an advanced kind of conversation later, like that we can have with users later. But we just kind of wanted to explain how those two, why there are two and how they work.
Okay. Somebody's asking to see where you changed your name.
Oh, yeah. So I have a Loom video on that in the project broadcast group. Just go up into the hamburger and hit update profile and put your first name and then with Pampered Chef as your last name.
And that helps. So when she sent that link out on the opt-in, instead of it just saying Tiffany Foreman, it now says Tiffany Foreman with Pampered Chef.
So if you search the project broadcast group, I've got a lot, Denise and I and Christina have a lot of videos we've made as we've discovered things. And we realize, okay, if one person has the question, then probably multiple people have the question. So we just make a video and we'll tag you in those as you ask questions too.
So did you, Tiffany, personally send out the opt-out like that to all your customers? Nope. No. Okay, good. Best
No, I added it to my drip. Because my thought is I've got people in my drip right now, right? That they're getting a message, 14 days out did their box arrive. And then they've got, a message that's about 3 months out that I asked them how everything's going. So I kind of added it to those drip messages, but I have to be very diligent about checking my unsent messages at this point. And this is kind of an advanced thing because say they opted in on my 14 days, and they're still in that same drip and then they get the message at the 3 month mark and it has the double opt-in in it, it's not going to go because they opted in. It's almost like once they opt in, it's like you need a separate drip, but I have not sat down to it's kind of like choose your own adventure. Like once you opt in, now move them to this drip because I just kind of I'm like, you know what? I'll just check my unsent messages. I don't know why it's stuck. I'll check my unsent messages and just kind of like Denise says on Fridays, she checks all her unsents to see what's there and and I just copy and paste the same message in the chat, but delete the sentence that says, can you do me a favor? I got that from Sarah Desmond. That was like, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you click this so that we can continue chatting? Very non-salesy, very comfortable wording. And that was I was like, brilliant, thanks. I'm going to add that to my drip. And I'm thinking, because the more I message them, the more opt-ins I'm going to collect. For when I turn it on, then it's not going to be as big of a deal. And I'm going to stop sharing because that's stuck right there. Yes, Tiffany. I use Connection Point. I don't understand why anybody would have Project Broadcast without Connection Point. It is the best $25 you can spend. I've said that multiple times on other trainings because Connection Point is $10. The cheapest subscription in Project Broadcast is $15, $25.
Now,
you can't pay
now it's actually $5. You can actually get one
I'm up
$5.
to there was 1 month I was up to the 75 for certain things, but that is the cheapest $25 assistant that you can pay for. I couldn't pay my teenager to do what
let me tell you, Connection Point is doing a lot too to try to help us through this. They actually have to where now when you log into your order field, you'll be able to see if in Project Broadcast they've already opted in or opted out. So that's going to be a really, I mean, valuable tool, because if you're using that, then you can decide which campaign to add them to from right there, because you'll be able to see, oh, they've already opted in. I have a campaign that doesn't have the opt-in message in. They haven't yet. I have a campaign that needs the opt-in message.
Especially if
So
you're
that's-
using Table, like Table's going to
Mhm.
opt them in. So you know that you could put them all in that they've already opted in campaign. Whereas if I'm doing cooking shows, I want them in the one that the first message that goes out has the double opt-in in it. And
Yeah.
somebody asked like about the standard, hey, this is standard wording is standard text messages rates apply. I think it was Kathy said, would this prevent somebody from opting in? I don't know about you guys, but every time I go to the store and I want to get the 10% off when I check out and they say text keyword free to the Michael's number, and then it immediately comes back, standard text messages rates apply. That's standard wording across everything. Because if you guys don't have a unlimited text plan, yes, you remember back in the days where it used to cost by text? That's why they have that, just in case. But I don't think that's going to prevent anybody from opting in, because we're also used to seeing that wording if you bought anything over the last couple of years.
Okay, Luis, if someone gives you a thumbs up or something like that, yes, I've gotten that too. Like, you know, they don't actually opt in, that they're just saying like, oh, okay. The message to them back is you just have to add that opt-in message back in the dynamic field with like, you know, hey, you know, whatever, but I do need you to follow this link so that I can continue, you know, whatever, or put it as a follow-up message 24 hours later. Hey, I just wanted to remind you, in order to continue, I really need you to follow this link. However you want to word it, but you'd have to send it again.
Because like, I think what Louise is saying too, is that she's like, say you have double opt-in turned on in Project Broadcast. You message them, they don't double opt in. Yes, you cannot re-message them unless your next message also has the double opt-in link. So, and what the rules also say is that it cannot be salesy. It has to be informative. So yes, if you send them another message like, hey, just a reminder to click this link, that's informative, I would assume. But the message does have the double opt-in link in it, and it would go through.
Right. Yes, you can create your own message to send customers if you want to include the opt-in link from Project Broadcast, but then you're using the you have to use the opt-in message that cost a credit. You can't use the free one. And then Jamie, yes, using CP with cooking parties or anything else is going to work as well. Even if you're entering the orders in, that's a whole other training for Connection Point, but you can still forward the message to still get them in your emails, even if you're entering them. And that's a training that they have on Connection Point. So whether you can do your host, you can do, because for those of you who may not be aware, if you manually enter the order for someone in your consultant's corner, you don't normally get the email, but there is a workaround for that if you're doing that.
So there were some questions about like kind of gathering that double opt-in. So we talked about the 0 credit message you can send, the kind of cringy one. We talked about the customizable message that you can send with the double opt-in link. Some of the other options is I got these ideas from the Project Broadcast group, is you could send a CCE out to everyone in your database and just add, and I actually, once I saw the idea, I added one more additional step that asked them to text back a keyword. And that is a thing within Project Broadcast. So if you have no idea what it means with keyword, you probably should watch that training. But for those of you who understand a keyword, I just said text back keyword because my customer group is called Foreman's Foodies. I said text back keyword foodie. And it automatically, I had it set up so it automatically replied to them and just said, thank you so much. Please click this link to opt in. Okay. And I know when I helped Yvonne do this, we just, you know how she always says, yes, yes. Her keyword was yes, yes. So like, let's say Sue's keyword, Sue has Molten's Munchies or something, and she can make hers Munchies. Just make sure you have the keyword set up in Project Broadcast. Again, that's a whole nother, there is tons of training about how to set up keywords and those automatic replies and all that stuff over in Project Broadcast. But you can do that. You can also go in your VIP group or just your Facebook wall and say, hey, And you guys, there's so many different options for wording out there. I've seen, because I get a lot of messages from consultants, they'll say like, to comply with federal law, blah, 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 blah. Or just to make sure we can keep chatting, click, make sure you text me this. So you don't have to necessarily use a keyword. They could just text you the word, hey, and you could go in and reply with a message that says, Denise, thank you so much for your message. Could you just do me a quick favor and click this link so we can continue chatting? Very non-threatening.
What did you put in your CCC for them too? Was it
I can copy and paste that. I made a Loom video about that too in Project Broadcast. And I showed the example of it because I copied it from, I think it was Laura Ayers. And the only thing I changed is I, made it me. And then I also just said, hey, text keyword blah. I mean, you guys are used to seeing that when you're out and about. Text keyword taco to get Taco Bell 10% off your next order. I think people are kind of used to that terminology.
One thing, so they're asking, so we can text to get them to opt in. So it is, the law is supposed to be that you have a working relationship with them within the last 18 months. Is that that's correct, right, Tiff?
Yeah, like, right? And that was one of the things we Googled too. Like if you have if they've ordered from you in the last 18 months, you can talk to them.
Yeah, you can text them, and in that you can let them know that you need them to opt in. If it's been longer than 18 months, we're not supposed to text them to ask them to opt in. So
that's why, like, going back 20 years, like, I'm not going to ask someone who ordered from me the first year of business and I've never heard from again to do that. That's why I said do a short look back. Like, look back to all your hosts in the past 12 months. Look back at all your orders the last 6 months. If you're going to do that. Another question that I want to make sure you guys saw the answer to was, can you incentivize people to double opt-in? Absolutely, but not over text. So that's against the rule to say, double opt-in here to be entered into my drawing for 25 free Pampered Chef. But you can incentivize on the CCE, and you can incentivize verbally, and you can incentivize on your VIP. And if maybe you send smoke signals. I'm trying to think of the different, what other ways that we come up with? VIP, main Facebook, email, customer connection,
lives,
and verbally.
Vendor events, whatever. You can do it on all of that. In your parties, for drawings, whatever. But you can't do it and send them a text to do it. So Tiffany, I know, has added her dynamic field in for the double opt-in to all of her campaigns. I haven't. What I've done is, because I have a question on all of my campaigns, so what I'm doing is going to look through each day who sent it, and then on all of the responses before I respond with my customers, I'm looking how they doubled opt-in, and then I'm like, answering their question, or hey, I'd love, here's a great recipe, blah blah blah. So I'm building up at least a response, getting them to respond to me from one message or one question. And I'm like, I almost forgot. We have this new security thing. Would you mind? And I have that as a template, actually. Would you, we have this new security thing, to protect our guest list and from spamming. So I need you to, in order for me to continue to send you messages, I need you to follow this opt-in. So I'm kind of doing it as an afterthought, as as we're actually communicating, where I don't want it to sound so spammy up front. So, guys, you're going to have to play with it. And I did do the emails, and I did do the other stuff also. So there's not going to be one easy answer is what we're trying to get to. There's so many options that you're going to have to, figure out what you want to do with your customers.
And like Doreen said on the call, this is going to help us pinpoint the people who want to hear from us. Okay, like, do I want like all the texts from Michael's, from DSW, from Dick's Sporting Goods, from my grocery store? Do I want all of them? No, but I kind of want to know when Hobby Lobby's having a sale. So like, it's one of those things that it's going to let the customer kind of dictate it. I wish Pampered Chef would take it a step further. And let's say somebody places an order on your personal website, and it is one of the situations where they went to your website, you got credit for that. I wish in that process, it would also ask that they would double opt into the text. Cause right now it's only asking them like, would they like to receive email? And that's like that little box we were talking about per contact. There's two little boxes. One says for CCE and one is the Pampered Chef mass emailing. So maybe down the road, they will start to, it's like this two systems really aren't talking together yet, the text system and the email system on that. But I'm sure that's something that tech people are looking into, because I'm sure we're not the only ones that have those questions.
Yeah, there's a lot of suggestions and that we've made, and they're looking forward to the idea, because even once they opt in, the idea of maybe an automatic reply like, hey, thanks for opting in, and that we could make, that part, to whatever, we wanted it to say, because you're a great customer, here's a coupon, or, like they do with Kohl's or anything else, so that's not an option yet. But those are suggestions that they're looking at. I did spend some time on the phone with Kylie yesterday, and she also asked again about what we were looking at was in Table, because right now in Table they can get text messages from that 5-digit number, when they send the recipe, or if you're clicking that button to send other messages. If you're using Project Broadcast, guys, and you're sending your thank yous and you're sending everything else, personally, I would suggest not using that text button from inside Table if you're doing tables, because they're going to get messages from 2 different numbers with that. That right away screams spam to me, like, well, what's this other number I'm getting messages from? So only use your Project Broadcast. So we're asking them to maybe give us an opportunity to opt in or opt out of using that, so they don't get a recipe from a different number or something. So those are things that they're looking at also to help us with appear not as spammy for our customers that we are communicating through Project Broadcast.
Oh, and just remember, this rule applies if you're using your personal phone number. It is not just because you have a Project Broadcast number. If you are using a personal phone number to conduct business, the TCPA still applies to that phone number.
You just don't have somebody backing you up collecting those opt-ins for you.
Yes, because if you're doing it personally, it is on you manually to record all of those. So by doing it through Project Broadcast number, there, like I said, we don't see that, but it's at the very bottom of the contact. If you scroll all the way down, that is starting to be recorded at the very bottom. It's like the last little checkbox they added in one of the last updates in late July, early August within Project Broadcast. You probably didn't even notice.
Yeah, somebody messaged me and asked me, what do they need to record? What would they need if they're using their phone? I don't have that answer. I don't think anybody at Pampered Chef is going to be able to give you that answer. You would probably need to do some type of consultant with a lawyer or something, I don't know, to figure out what, they would tell you to do. But
I mean, a bunch of screenshots that say, can I text you? Yes, you can. I don't.
Yeah. But I mean, that's an opinion. I can't tell you what would hold up, so.
Carolyn, Carolyn asked about new consultants. When we were in Florida doing our little powwow, we kind of thought like, maybe this isn't something you onboard your 30-day consultants with. Yes, it would be great for them to turn on the integration, especially if you're onboarding them through Table. And then there is that option, that $5 a month option. So if they're a brand new Project Broadcast user and they get that $15 credit, the $5 option with that Pampered Chef consultants get would carry them through their 90 days. The limitation with the $5 a month thing is that there is only 150 credits and there's no carryover. Whereas with that minimum $15 subscription that most of us that are using Project Broadcast regularly have, we carry over our credits. So if you use less than 1 month, you can roll those babies over and use them again. They just keep accumulating for you. So that is.
Carolyn, I am onboarding somebody right now as my guinea pig, and she's brand new consultant. She just signed up, and she is doing it with Project Broadcast with that $5 in the 90 days. Because my thought process was, if I'm giving her boards or text replacement or anything else, I just gave her like 4 templates, and she's using them as her thank yous. And with Project Broadcast, you can also do a managed user, so I can actually see her text messages because she's made me a managed user. So I can go in there and help her reply. or see things. So, because I
Kind of
figured
depends. Like if your new consultant doesn't know how to copy and paste, like maybe project broadcast is not going to be the thing for them. But if they're like, wow, whiz, I can do this, like, heck, onboard them with it. Like, I mean, have them learn it right along with everything else.
Especially because I'm onboarding with Table. So that's, the difference. Mine are already using Table, they're opting in. So I guess it just depends on how you're doing it. But I figure all of their customers are going to be opted in, from the beginning. They're not going to have to do the transition later.
Leah, what did you miss? I don't know what you're saying you missed. The option, I don't know if it was the
Carolyn, she seems to be doing really well. This is a brand new, she's not knowing any different. So it's like her texting, she's just texting them through it, so it's, it's not, that's what I'm dealing with. So again, it's a test for me of what I'm trying with a brand new consultant.
I think it's the managed user. Yes. Like if somebody else, like Denise, if you guys ever notice, you get a text from Nancy Joe, it's really Denise.
I can show you real quick on my screen what a managed user.
You just have to add the person, and then like Denise can log in between her and Nancy Joe.
Yeah, so the managed user has to add you in basically when they log in. So hold on, let me just get to where I can share.
And if you really want to confuse people, like Denise did one day, you can message me and I'm thinking I'm talking to Nancy Joe. And it was really Denise. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to train her? Like, I don't know how to do this.
Okay, so this is, if you can see here, this is my project broadcast, right? So when I click on here, I can go to manage accounts. And Nancy Joe has given me, made me a managed user. She's linked my project broadcast number to her. So I can literally just click on her. And now I'm in Nancy Joe's. So I can, send out messages, I can answer her messages and do everything in there as hers. And when I log out, it takes me right back to my own. And to add a managed user, which is great if you have, now it has to be another project broadcast number. You can't add it to a personal number. It's right here. You're adding account managers. You would hit the plus and add in their project broadcast number and hit save. And that's how you add in a managed user. So the same way that I had her, make, back in the day that if you're using Facebook and you're having them make you an admin or something, and basically having her make me an admin on her project broadcast. Yes, and that's what I'm doing with my new consultant.
All right, so we have like 12 minutes that
let me see,
Tiffany, can you explain the fastest way in project broadcast? Like it's so fast on a MacBook with an iPhone to just pull up my text and start typing somebody's name in, and then I'm like texting them right away.
Yeah.
And it seems like when I'm in project broadcast, I have to go to contacts and then search. Is there a faster way?
Well, it's because like when you're in a chat, it doesn't unless they've like chatted back with you recently, it's not going to do that. So like if I was going to do Denise, or Nancy Joe's over here. See, like if I'm looking for Denise, it's like, yeah, she messaged me back on 9:30, but I found more and more, like, I'm like, why is that chat there? And so I would more than likely go over to this option and then look for the thing. I'm also gotten better about hiding chats, Sue. So,
okay. Show me that.
Like if you are, let's just say, here's a past host. Let's just say I've taken care of this conversation. I'm just going to go in here. I'm going to hit hide chat. And it's just going to remove it from this list. It's not going to delete it. It's just going to remove it so that I can, like, especially when I send out my recipe club and all you consultants reply back, thanks. Like, you're welcome, but you fill up my chat. And so I literally takes me another 10 minutes to go through and hide combo. So I just, like this one here, this is a consultant, I can tell because of that little thingy right there. And I'm just going to go through and hit hide chat. So that I can.
Also, do you go in and look for your unread messages?
Yeah, there are times that you can go, unread.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, like you sort the filter right here.
right there. That's what
Yeah,
I
you
do.
can
So that's like
search.
looking for your, yeah. So when you have, that's how I reply to messages.
Make
You
sure you
know,
get it. You look at all the unread
I make
ones.
sure that I'm capturing all my unread, especially when you send out like a big, campaign, and now you're trying to reply to all the ones that reply. You don't want to miss anybody. I always go back to the unread, because even if you sent something to them again afterwards and you missed, even answering to one, if you have something that's unread, it's going to pick it up in there.
Okay, I just thought of something. So maybe you want to know everybody who has double opt-in. We've asked, but now I realize there's a way we can do this. Is who has opted in and who hasn't. Okay, so what I did is I created a tag called very creatively double opt-in, DOI. All right, so I'm going to go in my DOI. You're going to create it, and then when you're going to add the names to it, so I'm going to hit the plus sign to add the names. I'm going to hit this button right here. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to hit the magnifying glass right here. And there is a field, see, double opt-in status. I want everyone who has double opted in.
Oh.
Okay. And I'm going to hit okay. And now there's 231 people who have double opted in. I'm going to select them all. And this is, I'm updating now because I already had 200 and whatever.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Now they have the DOI, and you can see some of them, I don't even know what their names are because they didn't fill out the form when they filled out the foodie, but they didn't, that was when I sent out that customer thingy. Now I can go back into my consultant's connection and try to find who that is if I so wanted to. They just didn't fill out that secondary optional form, because if they do that, that name will transfer over. But that's how the fastest way. You can do the same thing if you were just in contacts yourself and you wanted to use that little filter thing. You could look to see who has not double opted in. All right.
You have to remove the search. You had Denise.
Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, I've got you in there. Okay, so let me hit that again. So you could go in and say who hasn't double opted in. And you have however many of those. Say you want to send a broadcast out to all of those who have not double opted in. When you hit your add contacts, again, you're going to hit that baby. And then you're going to go right here and who have not double opted in. Now I don't suggest, okay, so I hit opt in, hold on. We want not double opted in. So out of all my contacts who have not, okay, there's close to 5,000. I am not going to send a message out to 5,000 people at this point to get their opt-ins. Now I may send a targeted one that says, okay, let's get the ones who have never not double opted in, but I tag them with like a keyword, which is going to be back in here. Which is, like a tag, like anyone who I recently ran the report for anyone who had bought, like, say, Southwest. And I want to send those people, that's a stupid example, but let's just say, like, I was going to narrow it down, like a more targeted audience. 37 people is much better than 5,000.
So I have two quick questions before I have to run. One is, can you copy and paste your CCC into the text here so that we can get off and running with our own CCE and, put.
I will post the link to the Loom.
Okay, perfect. And then the second question was best practices. So from everything you said today, I have added the opt-in on the DSAM section because that doesn't stop me from sending them information. I've not opted in yet into Project Broadcast because I had watched all of that stuff there. But what is the best way? Because I, like you, have thousands of customers. Should I have my office assistant pull customers in the last 2 years from each show or from dates and just send because I created my first newsletter as a page and I want to send them out, but I don't want to waste all of my Project Broadcast because I'm going to be.
I would say if you're going to send a text already to a targeted audience, like, hey guys, here's my most recent newsletter. Thought you might be interested. Add the double opt into that.
Right, but I want to know who I should narrow that down to. Yes. Like I created the newsletter exactly for this, but I was waiting for this call before sending it. So I don't want to send it to the whole 5,000, do I? Or do I just want to send it to the people who have purchased in the last 2 years? I believe your targeted audience. So like I started with my recipe club people. If they want to continue getting my weekly recipes,
then they need to double opt in. You would think that because they asked to be in the recipe club.
Okay, gotcha.
So if they asked, like, I know Christina is the queen of keywords and having people like join different keywords and like, you know, keyword new to get the new catalog link, or keyword back to school to get my back to school recipes, like whatever it is, all of those, the reply to the keyword could be, thank you so much for your message. Before we continue, can you click here? And then you put the double opt-in link, the one that technically costs a credit in that message.
Got it. Perfect.
Like Tiffany's doing again with the more narrowed group is I kind of did the same thing with spices and things like that. And like, hey, I've got this great new recipe, you know, and so I went in and filtered everybody who doubled opted in and everybody who didn't, and sent out the message with the opt-in or not, you know, so just to keep communication basically. So that's basically what we're saying, is that we've been doing targeted groups, so it feels more authentic and more personable, instead of just asking everybody, hey, you know, do you want to opt in? Because it's
How will
We're
they
collecting
know?
them over time. We want to collect them before we turn it on.
Yes. Got it. All right. Thank you, girls. I have to run. I have a doctor's appointment.
That's fine. So another question that I had, that we had, we're getting a lot of for the people that are using table parties, and with this opt-in, because I know many of us had been starting to invite or send out the host, you know, have the host send us the invite list, or we were trying to send out the invites for those of y'all that are using table. So that's how I was partying. So yes, you know, a lot of people were freaking out, like, what are we going to do now? Again, Christina is the key of landing pages, queen of landing pages, and of keywords. So that's something that we're playing with right now. I actually just started a party and created a landing page with a video invite, you know, just saying, hey, we're so glad you're joining the party. By the way, you know, in order to get the host, the link to your host's party, I'll need you to click on this button and follow the link to get the link back. I'm sorry, you know. So basically we're asking them to opt in. So we're sending them like to RSVP. There you go. She's going to have them click. That's going to have them opt in. And now we can communicate with them and send them that link. So that is just a way that we're trying it. That's Tiffany's, and then I think mine. Yeah, I think we've all kind of made one a little bit different.
Yeah, we kind of started the same thing and then tweaked it with our own personality.
So that
like,
is
I don't have a video on mine yet, like you do, Denise.
Yeah.
Explaining that what it does.
Yeah. So it you know, so that is just a way that we're. So in other words, now I just had a party start. So my host is sending out. Hey, you know, I'm having a dinner on the dime, you know, table party. I'd love for you to join. If you're interested, please click, you know, you'll have to click this link, and it's the link to my landing page, so that my consultant can send you back the, you know, so my PC girl can send you back the link to join my party. So that's, the host is still sending them out and following, but that's how it's starting out. So that's just a way to try to a workaround that seems to be working. Does anybody have questions? I guess I can show you mine.
Yeah, and I'm asking, I just text Christina. I know she's on, but I don't know if she's able to come off mute to share that landing page. She created that one, so it's.
I'm here. What did you need?
Can have you already shared that invite landing page in Project Broadcast group?
I think it was just in our powwow.
Okay.
Yeah.
But same code.
And I needed to add
so
to
I
that
have
piece of
one, I
video
made
I
it
made.
generic. So I'm putting the host picture in there. So that's the social image that they get when the host is sending the invite. And so you'll have to change, because you're going to have to clone that landing page each time. So I've got a video, you know, and then I'm telling them how to follow the links basically to opt in. And here it is. So it's mine is, you know, super simple. I don't have a lot on this one because really all I'm trying to do is get them to capture the opt in so that I can message them to give them the table party link. So in the video, I kind of introduce myself and tell them, you know, like, hey, I'm so excited. And I have to have permission to send you back the text, to text you, to send you the So these are the steps you'll have to follow. And then I just have them written out again. So that's just, I don't know. Does that make any sense at all?
Not sharing your screen.
Was I not sharing?
No, sorry, I was
Oh,
typing.
sorry.
Yeah, all this stuff makes perfect sense. I'm following along. I just lack the creativity to create it from scratch for myself.
So again, now y'all can see it, right? Okay, so this is just the social. I'm dropping in the host picture. This is like my master. And then this is what mine looks like. I just have the, you know, welcome, watch the video, I explain it. These are the steps. They're gonna click here and that's it. So mine's just real simple. I'm just trying to get them to do that.
That's great. I love that.
If y'all would put that in the project broadcast Facebook group or
We
something
will.
just
So
somewhere.
last week after we brainstormed, Denise and I had a conversation. I put together a loom that had some options in it. And one at the time I forgot to splice in the landing page idea. So I'll make a quick loom on that and then splice it into that existing video. And then I'll reshare the loom. All the looms, and if you guys may need to remind me which looms you all need.
Yeah, I'm writing them down.
Thank you. 'Cause I'm like, I forgot to.
When we post the video in the director chat, we'll put the links in there too.
Perfect.
They'll be
And then
under
I
guide.
shared-
So give it till tomorrow to get that together and get in there. So they'll be in there. So
There's a lot to catch up on already anyway, so.
And then
time
I
to get
shared
done.
the link to the landing page invitation that we had just kind of came up with at the powwow that has Tiffany
you,
as the
Tina.
pretend host. And then right below that is the bundle code, share code. So
Got it. Thank you.
you guys
Thanks for
copy that and send that with everybody also.
And part of, I mean, I know a lot of this is information overload, especially if you have not even dipped your toe in Connection Point or Project Broadcast. So this is definitely a recording you're going to have to come back and watch once you get your toes in the water, because some of this is going to go right over your head until you start using it. And a lot of the training that is already embedded within Connection Point group and the table group, I'm sorry, in the Project Broadcast group and Project Broadcast itself, like you don't need to ask Christina, Denise, and I for that, your question, because they've already covered it. They've like done detailed trainings on this. And they've done a fabulous job on sharing the how-tos. We just take them and kind of like tweak them a little bit.
On that, I know I've gotten a couple of messages about that. So Connection Point, for those of y'all who are using Connection Point, one of the ideas that they were presenting or talking about was sending out 2 campaigns 1 minute apart, or messages 1 minute apart. So they were saying, you know, to capture everybody. So they were going to send out one message with the opt-in and one without the opt-in. That is a great idea if you have your double opt-in turned on.
Within you have to turn it on in Project Broadcast for this idea to work.
Yeah, because basically if, so if you send a message, like Tiffany said before, if someone has opted in already, they're not going to get the message, right, with the double opt-in. So then they would get the message without it, right? Okay, so if they have not opted in, they would get both if you've not turned on your Project Broadcast.
I know this is kind of like a what?
Yeah, so so because if you've not turned on your Project Broadcast double opt-in, you can text everybody. So they don't need that double opt-in. So if you're doing what Chris and them had kind of their idea of what they talked about, it will only work if you've turned on your double opt-in in Project Broadcast. If not, if someone has not opted in and you've not given them enough time in between that 1 minute message, they're going to get both messages.
That's
And
the only
so
time you want to make sure it's turned on so they don't get both.
Yeah. Does that make sense for those of y'all using? I mean,
if you've
so
turned on the double opt-in, this is a great solution for you.
Yeah.
Say the 2 messages again. The first one has.
It's basically the same message. One has the double opt-in link and one does not. And
so
it adds them to that
campaign
drip.
with 2 messages going 1 minute apart. That
So
was
the
his
system will
suggestion.
debunk one. It will like not send the one that doesn't apply.
Because it's so, like in Tiffany's example, when she was sending the double opt-in, but we had already opted in, that message wouldn't go. Okay, so with the other case scenario, he's trying to capture the double opt-ins. Well, if you've not turned it on, it doesn't require you to have the double opt-in. So they would get both messages, one without the double opt-in and one with. So
And this
that's what
also
we're
works
saying.
great for people who are not doing table parties, but they have the table integration on and they had the double opt-in on. Because if you're already doing table, they've already double opted in. So you don't need that drip with the two messages.
So that was it's an idea that's floating around out there that they were discussing on Connection Point. And I just, wanted to let you know, because there has been a few that have, approached me about it, and that's where it will fall through if you've not turned it on.
Mandy asked where to get started. Mandy, I posted in the chat a landing page Christina helped me create with a bunch of stuff I've like accumulated together of some different looms and things. But you want to make sure you sign, like if you've never dipped your toe in it, for anybody who has not dipped their toe in it, you need to sign up for the two for all this to make sense. And like I said earlier, I would highly suggest doing Connection Point and Project Broadcast together, because I did not use Project Broadcast nearly as much in the first 5 months I had Project Broadcast until Connection Point went live for everybody last year. So ever since I moved, I added Connection Point was available for all of us on like around the end of May. I turned it on June 1st. It is like, it's made Connection Point so much, or Project Broadcast so much easier, because Connection Point reads all our emails. You like set a filter. This is going to go over your head if you're not done this yet, but it sets a filter to read your email of the ones that are from Pampered Chef. So when it says Denise Garza has placed an order on Christina Bailey's party and she bought X, Y, and Z, it's pulling the address, it's pulling the phone number, it's pulling the email address and all that, so that when I send the thank you through Connection Point, that phone number is already in there and it's pulled all that information, so that I don't have to manually enter because Connection Point grabbed it all. It's just
And guys, don't forget team members. Your team members are also going to have to opt in.
Yeah, so like when Denise texts all of us from Nancy Joe's, like we have to be opted in for Nancy Joe to text us. So that's one of the situations where I use the 0 credit one, is I send it to my entire team with 0 credits and just let it, because they know that it's me, because I've sent stuff to them before. So I just send it to them to see how many of them would opt in. Shan, I can't remember. I think you do.
You don't have to have a Gmail. There's some other options. It just depends on which email you have, but Gmail is the easiest.
It is the easiest.
You're going to have a lot less problems with Gmail than you would with anything else. And that's because of the email. That's because of whatever the emails and their forwarding and their filtering options. Gmail is the one that is a more user.
And it's not like you're forwarding all your emails. You're just forwarding the Pampered Chef ones.
Uh-huh.
So if you wanted just to create a Gmail account for just your Pampered Chef emails, and then it makes the Connection Point process a lot easier to set up.
Yeah.
So I've been waiting to do Connection Point, and I'm thinking the first one is just to get my foot in the door, is to start it with customer replies. Thank you for your order. Is that the best place to start?
Yes, that's exactly how most of us started.
That's where it starts.
We just had the thank yous go out, because everything we kind of talked about has been 18, 20 months in the process. Like I didn't start my recipe club until I'd already been using Project Broadcast for almost a year and Connection Point for at least 5 months before I added that piece of it. So I really wasn't using Project Broadcast at all, besides the thank you from Connection Point and then the drip campaign, which, us old schoolers know as our 222.
Right.
Doing that piece, because I was horrible at that.
Yes. I have a drip campaign for the 222, but I have to manually enter it because I haven't put the Connection Point in.
Right. So if you do
and I'm
Connection
still
Point,
horrible
you
at
just
it.
tell Connection Point what drip to add them to. It will do it automatically, right, Bailey? Automatically.
And so then you're adding this double opt-in, because I haven't started any of that yet. I've been waiting for a lot. I've been in technology like forever. That was my degree. I know not to jump on anything first. Yeah, because it'll settle out like the thing that they took off within 24 hours with table. Like I want that to be used by the masses for a little bit first. So I'm gonna jump all into this. So to do the double opt-in, you make that part of the messages with your initial.
Are you doing
connection.
table parties or other parties?
I'm doing whatever they'll do. I don't like Facebook, so either I'm doing
Okay.
in person or table. I'm good on table. That's fine. I just got to.
I mean, with table, you don't even need the double opt-in because they're already doing the double opt-in.
Right,
Well, it
but I'm
depends
working
how
on
you're-
getting the
how
other
you're
stuff.
inviting. It
Yeah,
depends
but I'm
how
working
you're
on
inviting.
getting.
If they join the table party, the double opt-in is recorded.
Right, not a problem there. I'm just working on the other stuff, like all the other pieces. I've got to add more table parties, but I've got like
Yeah,
an
so if
in-person
somebody
party.
like orders off of a cooking show,
Right.
and yes, you can have the message that comes out of Connection Point say, "Thank you so much for your order. Click here to continue to get messages, follow-up messages from me."
Okay.
And the double opt-in is there.
Another idea is I've given all my team members that part of the recruiting process is if they recruit somebody, that they're having their new recruit text me so that they opt in so that I can send them the onboarding information.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank
But
you
yeah,
guys.
there's a lot of trainings out there, especially like Project Broadcast has told us that we're the most sharing community out of all the different businesses that they deal with. And they're like, why do you guys share so much? Like, what is the, what's the right word I'm looking for? Like the benefit that you guys are sharing. We're like, because Doris shared everything, so we share. So like Christina, Denise, and I aren't like, oh no, you can't know what my landing page looks like. Oh, I'm not gonna help you figure out how to do a recipe club, like, because you might steal my customers. Like there's like we've made so many little videos and so many little like Christina's landing pages are beautiful. There's so many out there. Like today I messaged her and I'm like, why did I message her? I just need to search the group. It was right here.
Yeah.
I love this call because for me, it's just being aware of what's available. I can do it, but I just am not aware of all the
Yeah,
pieces.
and
Y'all have gone through
you as the business owner have to make that.
Yeah.
Mandy, what they are telling us is when we thank them that Christina, what was your words on that? Like when we thank them, it's not promotional because you're not including like a recipe that has links to the products. If you're just saying thank you for your order.
Right, you want it to be informational only, and I did share the wording that I have begun using with my initial thank you in Connection Point. So the example I gave is, hi, Sally, thank you for placing a Pampered Chef order on your friend Susie's party. Your kitchen is going to be so happy. My name's Christina Bailey, and if you'd like me to be your personal Pampered Chef helper and check in to make sure your shipment arrives in one piece, please click this link and fill out your name and then include the double opt-in link. And then I want them to fill out that section that has their name. I'm kind of using the double opt-in link in place of a configurable form. And then it says, don't forget to add me in your phone contacts as Pampered Chef Christina, so you can text me anytime you have a question. So it's informational. It doesn't say anything about a recipe. It doesn't say anything about the specials or the news coming up. It's clearly informational and asking if they'd like me to check in and make sure their shipment arrives.
Even
Now,
if they are $79 of a guest order and they are $1 away, you're not supposed to message them and say you're $1 away from the guest special.
Leah, that message was shared on the Project Broadcast Pampered Chef group, and it's in the featured pinned announcements. And then I also have all the like hashtags, all the topics. So that's connected to customer care and double opt-in.
Shan, I'm going to message you my link again so that you have it.
Oh.
This link, this landing page gives you like how to get, like has some links in on how to sign up for all that. Oh no, Louise, what's your question? Legally what? I'm looking.
Yeah, it's there, Randy. You can grab it too. The link's there above.
Oh, before we can chat legally, I need you to opt in. I feel like that's like scary.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And on my invitations, I'm just like, thank you for your interest in your friend Elizabeth's party. Please click this link and fill out your information to proceed or to continue. Like, I'm not.
Like I said, I've been getting a lot of consultants messages, and it's like to adhere to federal guidelines. I'm like, eek. Like, I know that's like some of the wording that's out there, but to me personally, like, especially when I got to scroll like 3 paragraphs even to get to that, it does not make me want to double opt in.
You can, yeah,
I
you
just
can
put
say
protect
legally,
yourself
but
from spamming. Yeah. I
you
need your
can say
permission to
legally,
do
but
that.
I don't know that that's recommended. That would be kind of scary if someone was like, why can't I legally talk to you? Are you like, do you have to report when you move? Like, what do you mean? Legally
It's
can I
like
talk
kind of
to
like when
you?
I was saying Sarah Desmond's thing, like, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you just like click this so we can continue to chat? And then like when they click the link before they hit the button accept, it says you're giving Christina permission, blah, 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 blah. So I feel like that page kind of like takes
Covers the
care of
legal
that,
part.
that really wordy stuff. Oh, that's, yeah. So they got my first message, then they just asked a question but didn't opt in. Like if you were taken to court, Louise, like if that person later said, Louise is texting me and she's not supposed to, I'd be like, dude, you asked me a question.
Was the answer that required include marketing? Like, was the question, what's the specials next month? I think it would depend on what the question
Yeah, is it
too,
informational or is it?
Because some of mine were doing that, and I was like, don't forget, I need you to click this first. And I just put the double opt-in link again.
You could say yes, and then say, so that we can continue chatting, can you like click this link?
Yeah.
But just remember again that even if you're not using Project Broadcast and you are texting them from your personal number, these laws still apply. And a catalog too, Louise, that I mean, a catalog is promotional. So
and she's initiating it, and you would have the proof in the history to show
that she initiated
She
it.
started talking about promotional stuff first.
I mean, I'm also thinking like, okay, are they real? Like, who is out there prosecuting these people? Like the Karens of the world who want a payout. Yes, they're trying to, but I don't even think they get a payout. Like
they did.
Okay, so they're going to get the $500 per infraction, these individual people, I guess. So, just, I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to do what you think is best. And then we provided a bunch of different, like you were saying, Carolyn, like we've given you a bunch of different options that you can pick from to CYA.
Karen, sorry. Karen says it's a tough time being a Karen.
I know,
Not
sorry, sweetie.
Not a Karen Winter though. Yeah, Karen Winters are great. I would say use the words that would sound okay to you if you
got it.
Yeah, if someone says to talk to you legally, I would probably go like, what? You know,
what?
If someone got that if someone got that for me, they'd probably message me, Denise, did you get hacked? Because that wouldn't be me. You know what I mean? So it's what would you reply to? What would you answer to? So that's, you know, kind of what you need to fill that up. Because when I sent out the email and when I sent out just a few to kind of fill it out, they were like, oh, I wasn't sure that was a spam. I had a few.
Or was that really you? Yeah.
Yeah. So
but if you guys would also do us a favor, when you have personal questions, like, of course, there are times that we're in a really good spot and we can definitely like answer you like a really detailed answer. And there are times that we are running our personal lives and personal businesses that it's easier for us to point you back to the Project Broadcast Connection Point table group. Sometimes it's just easier if you'll ask in that group. And then if we have time, like Christina is really good about answering questions on there, even if she's not tagged on them. But the Project Broadcast group has even recently posted, like, can you guys ask the questions here so that the support people
Everybody, because if y'all ask it, more than likely somebody else is, and so that we're not answering the question.
And it's not like we're reporting back to them all the questions we got asked for them to improve Project Broadcast. But if you're asking on the Project Broadcast, we can chime in and then they can see what we want improved and helped, you know.
Even in table and Connection Point, just tag us and we'll help answer the question, but we really appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, make sure you download the chat if you don't have your Zoom set to do that so that you guys can get some of these answers. I know some of them I typed in as we were going. And when Denise gets the recording up, or Patty, and then Denise has a full list of what we're going to share, just give us some time to get all of those resources together in one post. Because, we love our links and our resources. So we want to make sure we have a nice complete list for you guys.
Thanks,
If we
everybody.
forget, just let us know.
Be positive about it too, and we really do.
Yeah. Just give yourself some time, give yourself some grace, especially if you've not even touched Project Broadcast or Connection Point and you're just starting to do this. Like I said, this has been 20 months now in the making of us learning this. And Christina, Denise, and I are pretty techie, and we grasp things pretty quickly. So we know that is not everyone. So don't expect that you can absorb everything we said today in one sitting and then just take it and run.
Yeah, because we looked at each other like during the headlights at first too, like, okay, what do we do? So it took the three of us at times to
and I will just jump in really fast too. If you are someone who hasn't started using Project Broadcast yet, I think it's going to be easier for you to get started because you can just automatically, you don't know any different. This is the rules going forward, and you're only messaging people who are opted in. It's going to be more difficult for those of us who were using Project Broadcast for so long and had a database, had conversations going on, had campaigns that were in motion, to have that transition. And how I relate it to, for those of us who have been around a long time, remember when we had to stop talking about our paychecks and playing the paycheck game in our shows in relation to recruiting because of those rules that were always there, but we then wanted to be more conservative about that because Pampered Chef saw the writing on the wall. I'm equating it to that. Same kind of a deal. This law has been in effect for a while. We know about it now. We need to change how we're doing things to be in compliance. It's going to be a transition period. So, just, P3 to the PWS for sure. That's that time of transition. So there's no hard and fast deadline. The deadline was 10 years ago, but they understand it's going to be as we're slowly getting those opt-ins, slowly changing how we're doing things. It's going to be okay. And you don't want to burn your credits talking to someone that doesn't want to talk to you anyways.
Yeah.
It hurts. It still hurts when I get people that are like, I don't want to hear from you anymore. But in the long run, it's like, cool, saved another credit. So yeah, I'm only adding those opt-ins to messages I was gonna send anyway. So like I just had my host appreciation party. So when I was sending that out, I sent the email out and I posted on Facebook, it's time for my host appreciation party. If you want the invitation, text the keyword past host to this number. And the keyword past host said, click this link, double opt in if you want the invitation. And so I was making them do that. For the team meetings, for the team, like you were saying, they have to opt in too. I'm a little bit more blunt, where I have the big red exclamation mark emojis at the top that say action required. You have to click this link to keep getting reminders from me for the team meeting, because I send that out anyways.
And you're going to have a team person that writes back stop. You are.
That's fine.
Who cares?
Y'all want to hear a funny story?
They weren't joining the Zooms anyway.
Yeah.
Hey, Marie Friday put stop on Nancy Joe's because she didn't realize who it was. Yeah, it was funny.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
She's like, oh, I forgot that was your number. So yeah, it was funny. She just, that's when we first started Project Broadcast. So so true story. So y'all have to realize that people don't know. So
that's funny. Oh my gosh. That's a good one.
I appreciate y'all. I know we don't want to keep everybody too long, so thank you. And
oh my gosh,
for all. And as things develop, we will try to do this again if we need to. But we appreciate y'all.
Yeah, these really help, and all your sharing videos are like amazing. I feel like every single time, and I'm a pretty techie person, but I feel like you just you gotta stick with it. And, like Tiffany said, and that's what I do is I rewind the the video until I get it right, so that's the best thing. So you guys have been amazing, terrific, beyond belief. It's just great to have all of this great information. We're so glad for all of the sharing that you guys do, so that we're not doing this alone. Yeah, I think they've got their questions. We'll have this recording, we'll get it up, and then Denise and Tiffany, and I don't know who's doing the support thing to this. So we'll have that all information on the website, and then on the
Yeah, like if y'all ask
Monday
additional
director
questions
chat.
under this recording, we'll be able to like go in and answer too.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
perfect.
If you're watching this
Perfect.
replay,
Perfect.
ask
Yeah.
questions there. So it's kind of like centralized.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You guys are amazing. We cannot thank you
Thank
enough.
y'all too.
All right,
Well,
you guys.
and y'all all share, it's just that everybody shares a little bit, we all grow a lot. So
Yeah, thank
y'all
you.
all played a part in us too. So we appreciate y'all as well.
Yeah. You guys are amazing. We
Thanks,
really
guys.
appreciate it. Okay, you guys. Now everybody's headed off to Project Broadcast and Connection Point. So
Because when you take those trainings over there, you get more credits.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you
There
might
you
as well
go.
take all those trainings.
Patty, do you want to stop the recording?
Yeah,
and see
let
if
me
there's
go ahead and
any-
stop the recording.